There's a product out there that you should know about if you're thinking about buying a house anywhere in the state of Florida in 2025. Not everybody knows, and I've realized this because people who have called me to help them purchase homes are surprised when I share this with them. And this is something that, if you're thinking about buying a home, you should know. And that is, there's a lot of new homes out there, brand new homes that you can purchase. New construction, single family homes, townhomes, condos. And most people think buying a new home is like buying a new car. Of course, buying the new car is going to cost more money. It's going to be more expensive. The monthly payments are going to be higher. In real estate, that's not necessarily true. A new construction home can solve a lot of the pain points that buyers are experiencing these days. If you've tried to buy a home anytime since the pandemic, and even before 2017, 2018, home prices have been coming up. But ever since 2020, it's been brutal for buyers. Buyers have had a difficult time. So we all thought the market was going to completely crash in 2020 when the pandemic came through. Most of us in the business, at least I did, thought that the real estate market was just going to crash. Everything was going to stop. The entire economy was going to come to a screeching halt. Turns out the opposite happened. Everybody decided they wanted to move all at once. So that drove up demand for real estate. Right around the same time, mortgage rates came down. So 2020, 2021, you could acquire a mortgage for maybe under 3%, 2.9%, not unheard of. In that time frame, with mortgage rates going down so low, buyers responded by paying more for homes. And if you can finance more and pay less interest, you can increase the price of the homes. And this all happened while everybody was moving around during the pandemic. So people in New York City, people in Miami, people in Los Angeles, densely populated cities, all wanted to leave these densely populated cities, move out to the country. So everybody started moving all at once, creating an incredible demand for housing. That demand, coupled with interest rates being so low, led to a rise in equity, a dramatic appreciation, 20 to 30% year over year during 2020, 2021, and the first quarter of 2022. We saw historic record increases in home values. So trying to buy a home in that time frame was difficult. A lot of competition, multiple offers on every home. When we worked with buyers, we'd often write up as much as 15 contracts for that same buyer, chasing 15 homes, one after the other, being beat out on offers, offering over asking price, forfeiting the inspection period, forfeiting appraisals, doing whatever we could do to be competitive. But at the end of the day, we just ended up paying more for homes. So we saw a dramatic increase in home values in that time frame. The gravy train came to a screeching halt in Q2 of 2022. Mortgage rates started to come back up and actually realized the quickest increase in mortgage rates in history. So went from being able to acquire a 2.9 to 3% interest rate on a mortgage right up to 6.5, 7%. You couple that with dramatic appreciation in home values a few years prior, and now monthly payments are at a record high. Let's start off in 2023 now, when insurance rates spiked. So if your home was if your roof was 15 years old or older, insurance companies were now saying that they wouldn't renew your insurance policy, or your insurance policy spiked from $1,500 to $2,000 a year annually to $3,500, $4,000, $5,000. So being a homeowner or being a home buyer for the past 5+ years has just been very, very difficult. Between the cost of homes skyrocketing in 2020, 2021, and 2022, then interest rates skyrocketing in 2023, insurance premiums skyrocketing in 2023, and those still haven't come down, nor have interest rates, and here we are in May 2025. So being a buyer of real estate for the past 5 years has just been very difficult. Let's just talk about the spectrum of options as far as new construction is concerned. There's a broad spectrum, everywhere from a package, standard no changes, to fully customized. And I'll go through the entire spectrum here in just a second. All right, so on the one side of the spectrum, you have spec builders or speculative builders. And these are builders that have maybe one or two models they're building in the area, maybe a few more. They'll change the trims, the finishes in the house if you get them in time. But a lot of these builders will have their own inventory of lots that they have purchased, and they've got homes permitted on those lots. And they're going to build those homes. They start them before they even advertise them, and they won't market the property or make it available to make an offer on until they're only about 4 months out from being CO'd or getting their certificate of occupancy. So on the opposite side of the spectrum, we have custom builders. These builders will create whatever you want from the ground up. We have a few of those custom builders here in Port St. Lucie, but they're all over the state. Some of them advertise, some of them are just contractors, but one way or the other, they don't keep their inventory of lots. That process is a whole lot different, polar opposite from the spec builder side. That process is more like you sit down, design a home from the ground up, pick your lot that the builder does not keep in inventory. You'd need to go and find a separate lot and combine the lot and the closing of the build of the home together. On the custom build side, you can pick the size of your home, you can pick the layout of the home, you can move walls around, you can do whatever you want. Your imagination is the only limit. So that's a spectrum. You have spec on one side, custom build on the other side, and there's a combination of such in between. There are builders that only build one, maybe two models in town. They do the same thing over and over and over again, and they won't change anything. They won't change the finishes, they won't move walls, they won't do anything. In the middle, you have builders like GHO and other Synergy. They will make changes to their floor plans. You can consult with them. They don't keep as many lots. Maybe they'll have 2 or 3 at any given time. Sometimes maybe a few more, sometimes less, sometimes none. But you can consult with these builders. They can make changes to the finishes, maybe mild changes to the layout. Some builders will make more changes to the layout. Let's talk about financing these homes. Again, 2 dramatically different situations. On the spec build side, the builders who are building a couple floor plans, maybe a series of floor plans, but aren't moving walls, maybe they'll be able to change finishes if you get to it in time. These guys are finance their properties using what's known as an end loan. And what that means is that the builder is going to pre-qualify. If you're financing the purchase of a new construction home, they're going to pre-qualify you at the beginning of the transaction with their preferred lender, more than likely. You can use any lender you really want to. However, most of these builders have their preferred lender and offer incentives contingent upon using that lender. And we'll talk about incentives shortly. So let's talk about financing an end loan with spec builder. That process is you go to that builder, pick a lot, maybe pick your house or pick the lot that the house is already on. You go through the pre-qualification process with their preferred lender. That builder is already building that home with their own money. While they're building that home, you're going through the qualification process and the underwriting process to fund the house and close the loan. So that when that builder gets CO or certificate of occupancy, the lender approves the loan, the lender funds the transaction, funds the purchase of the home, the builder hands you the keys, and you're moving forward. So that's on the spec builder side. On the custom builder side, it's quite the opposite. On the custom build side, you have what's known as a construction-to-perm loan. And there's different banks again. Some custom builders have their preferred lender, some don't. Some just say, okay, go get a loan and we'll figure this out. That process is a little bit different with the custom builder. Again, that process is as follows. You're meeting with the builder to decide the layout of the home. How big do you want it? Where do you want the front door? Where do you want the walls? Where do you want the master bedroom, bathroom? Where's the kitchen? How big is the kitchen? What color do you want it? What kind of floors do you want? Countertops, all of the different components, the thousands of different factors or options that you have in building your new home. You're gonna go through all that right up front. And they're gonna say, well, where are we gonna build this house? Well, you need to acquire a piece of land in order to do that. So you consult somebody like myself or a real estate agent to help you find a parcel or a piece of property to put that house on. And you have a lot of options there. Of course, we have 1/4 acre lots here in Port St. Lucie. There's 1/2 acre lots or 2 acre lots, throughout the county and throughout the state. But you would acquire a lot using what's known as a construction-to-perm loan. And that means that you would contract to purchase the property, the lot that you found that you want to build your home on, and you'd also contract to purchase or to fund the construction of your new home. That loan would be closed before the build even starts. Again, it's called a construction-to-perm loan. So that loan would fund the build of the home and the purchase of the property in one loan. Once that's closed and construction is to start by the builder will pull draws throughout the process to fund the construction of the home. And when the builder is done building the home, he hands you the keys and you're a proud new homeowner. So the financing between the two is dramatically different. On the spec side, the builder uses their own money to build the home. On the custom side, they use a construction-to-perm loan, meaning that you fund the transaction, the purchase of the lot, and the build of the home. You close on that loan before the build even starts. So let's talk about the benefits of buying a new construction home in 2025 in the state of Florida. I can think of 3 right off the top of my head. Interest rate buy downs. There are builders out there that are buying interest rates down to as low as 4.9%. Insurance costs. Insurance costs on a brand new home can be a fraction of what the insurance costs on a similarly sized home that is older would be. Third, cash to close. There are builders out there right now that are offering up to $20,000 towards closing costs and even further rate buy downs. Would you buy a new house, or would you buy a similarly sized house that's 15 to 20 years old? If you're interested in seeing the new inventory, let me know.